Hi, everyone. So 10 years ago, when I was going through one of my rounds of IVF, my fertility doctor said, you know, if personhood, this idea of personhood, where a fertilized egg is a human being with equal rights to you, takes hold, then we can't do what we're doing today, which is discarding 3 of the 5 fertilized eggs that we had retrieved because they were non-viable. They had stopped growing. And if he had implanted those in me, they would have caused miscarriages. He said this could potentially be manslaughter and murder. That was 10 years ago. 3 years ago, before the Dobbs decision came down, as the arguments were being heard, the Association for Reproductive Medicine put out a bulletin to all of their members, practitioners in reproductive medicine, and said, hey, just so you know, if Dobbs does actually pass and Roe v. Wade is overturned, you might want to reconsider practicing medicine in these red states, because with the fall of Roe, you could potentially be put into legal jeopardy. This came out from the Association for Reproductive Medicine, formally to all of their doctors. And now we see it happening. We see doctors leaving all of these red states, moving away because they can no longer practice medicine. We see women not being able to access basic reproductive health care. So, you know, as we prepare to mark the 2-year anniversary of the Dobbs decision, I find myself getting more and more mad every single day because we've seen this coming. They've been telling us this is what they're going to do. Yet, for months now, Republicans have been running to cable news shows telling every camera in sight, just like their ringmaster Donald Trump has been doing, that no one cares about women more than they do, that no one cares more about defending women's rights than they do, and that all they want to do in this scary post-Alabama ruling reality is to defend Americans' access to IVF. But for anyone who's paying any attention, you know that's not true. That is a lie. Until you solve the problem of personhood and a fertilized egg being a human child, then you don't get to the point where women can have safe access to reproductive health care, to assisted reproductive technology, to safe and abortions if needed. Just last Thursday, my Republican colleagues blocked my Right to IVF Act, which would have enshrined into law the simple standard that no hopeful parent or doctor can be criminalized for IVF. If Republicans actually cared as much about protecting IVF as they do about protecting Donald Trump's ego, this would have been a simple yes vote. If they actually wanted to find a real fix for this crisis that countless Americans are facing, they would have joined me in passing this very obvious solution. Because the threat to IVF isn't some far-fetched hypothetical. As GOP legislatures, courts, and the Extremist Project 2025 have made all too clear, this threat is already a real-life nightmare for countless women who are now forced to live in fear that Republican success come this November would even further imperil their right to try to create a family, to try to create a child. Hopeful moms who remain unsure whether living in a red state under a Trump presidency could mean getting jail time for committing the supposed sin of needing modern medicine to help bring into the world a baby that they want to love and cherish, a baby that they've dreamt of for years. So when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. That's how the saying goes. Well, Republicans have shown us who they are 1, 2, 3, 4,000 times. When the rubber meets the road, and we ask not just for empty words on Twitter, but for their vote, they won't lift a finger to protect women in this country. As a mom who struggled with infertility and needed IVF to have my 2 beautiful little girls, all I can say to my Republican colleagues in this moment is, how dare you continue to lie to the American people? How dare you continue to dash the hopes of so many families looking to have that precious child? And I wish you luck as you try to excuse your hypocrisy to every one of your constituents back home who are facing the heart-wrenching struggle of trying to have their own little girl or boy to cuddle and love, who are terrified that your blind loyalty to Trump may have just snatched that dream away from them. Shame on you. And now I'll pass it to Senator Rosen.